Hello again. You've been for your run. It's now very important to stretch again so that you have a better recovery. Let's start by taking the runner's lunge, as it's sometimes known. Arms up, release yourself forward and down. Let's take the right leg back and the right knee down to the floor. Bring your right hip above the right knee and extend that left leg forward any amount. You may have your hands to the floor here, or if this is a little too itchy, not itchy, but tetchy rather on the back, you can use some bricks as well. So whatever feels comfortable, so that here primarily you feel that stretch into the back of the hamstring and the back of the leg. Your toes may be pointing up or your foot might be pointing down. That really depends on the intensity of what you feel in the back of the leg, as well as the angle of opening of your ankle. So there's no preference. It's just a personal preference really, rather than what you have to do with your foot. And then take both hands to the inside of the left leg, bring the left knee back, bring yourself up, take a breath. Bring this time the right leg forward, bring it forward any amount. Remember, you can use your bricks. You could also pad the knee that you're bearing weight on. Take a few breaths. Perhaps have a little play with the position of your foot, forward or up. Take another couple of breaths here. And then the right hand comes to the inside of the right leg. Take the right leg back. Sit back onto your heels. Notice if there is any amount of stretch on your quadriceps here. For the next posture, you may well find that the knees together are comfortable. For some people, the knees wider feels more comfortable. So any width is totally acceptable, depending on who you are. And then you take your hands behind you, roll the shoulders back. And here you can maybe lengthen the tailbone so you lift yourself up. And as you descend back, you might feel that stretch onto the quadriceps. You can roll the shoulders back and get a good chest stretch as well. You can even allow the head to fall back here. This also works on straightening the ankle. So opening the ankle really here. Notice how that feels for you. Then come back through towards the center. And from here, you'll come into your puppy. Back onto your knees. Bum above the knees. You stretch the hands forward. And you allow the forehead maybe to come towards the floor. Too much for you here, just bring the hands, still the elbows quite up off the floor, but do allow the head to hang down here. We're aiming to stretch into the pectorals, helping the recovery for your lungs here. And then one hand after the other under the shoulders. Take the legs out to the side, come down onto your bottom. Here the figure of four. Two ways of doing this. You can take the hands behind you and then take the right shin across the left thigh and be here so that you feel the stretch onto the glutes. And maybe the hamstrings, or here you can get a double one by working both into hamstring and hip and sliding the hands to the inside and outside of the left leg with the foot up. Bend the left knee, release, and then over to the other side. So remember, if you'd rather do this seated so that you have more of an impact and a stretch forward, then it's up to you. I enjoy this one more so that I have the double impact of that stretch into the hamstring as well as the outside of the left hip. And here, see that your head as well might be supported, because if your head rolls back and you're tight in the shoulders, it's much better to have it slightly lifted on a blanket maybe, so that the shoulders might be more relaxed and the breath easier, and the access to that awareness of the hamstrings and the hips is more available. Now bend the right knee, release the foot to the floor. There we go. From this, if you were sat up into your stretch, you're going to come all the way down to the floor. Helpful here to have a couple of blankets, a bolster maybe if you have it, a brick or two, or some heavy, thick books, to now come into a supported bridge. I like to have two. You place them under your pelvis, not under your lower back, under your pelvis here. So that you can take one leg in and hold either top of the shin or behind the knee, and then you extend the right leg forward. If you're thinking, my heel doesn't touch the floor, it may not just right now. If it feels like it's too much of a stretch, feel free to decrease the height that is underneath you. If it feels like nothing, increase it. And again, you stay here for a few breaths. Next exhale, bring the right foot flat to the floor. Allow that left foot to come down to the floor. Take a breath here. And move on to the other side. Bring the right knee in, hold the leg in whichever position feels comfortable, and start to extend that left leg forward. Worth noting that some people and their backs are perfectly happy to have both legs forward and be high lifted. My back does not like it. But feel free to experiment and to, instead of doing one leg at a time, to do both legs. Maybe not this time. Maybe next time it's worth trying. And bring the left foot flat to the floor, release the right foot flat to the floor. Engage the belly towards the spine, press the feet down to be able to lift your hips and slide the bricks out to the side. Release yourself down. Take your arms into a T shape maybe. Extend the right leg forward, take the left knee in towards the chest, take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, then roll onto your right hip to take that left leg across. And accommodate, so here you tailor-make this posture for you. Perhaps pressing onto the back of the head, lifting the chest will free the chest a little bit more so that the left shoulder is still on the floor. If your left shoulder is struggling and is up off the floor, why not bring it a little closer to the side of the body? That might allow you to have more of a twist and more of a release and a stretch into your IT band there as well. You could also gaze over to the other side. sense what feels right for you. For instance, right now I have a slight pinch on the inside of my hip, so I'm going to go a little lower. Bring the gaze back through to the center, allow your body to roll back to the center. Recalibrate yourself, recenter yourself, left leg forward, right knee in, left hand to the outside of the right knee, roll over onto your left side. You could support the right leg with a brick under the foot maybe. Press onto the back of the head to maybe free a little bit more of the chest. Different bodies like different postures, but also different variations in the postures. So do not hesitate to have a little fumble, a little try as to what works for you. Gaze back through towards the center, roll the body back through towards the center. Extend the leg, allow the feet to roll out at a natural angle here. You may stay here in Shavasana, or if you are ready to move on, take the hands behind the thighs, tuck the chin, start to roll back and forth onto your spine. Come up to being seated. I hope those helps. Always try to factor in the stretches at the beginning and at the end of your run to help be a better runner and to help to have a better recovery. Namaste.